Yo, Ariswuja here, and I'm going to talk about why solo queue only is perfect for the rush week in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This video will focus on the huge benefits that are in the rush week being solo queue, and it's not to say that if pre-made lobbies were allowed that it would suck because, playing with friends is really cool too. So for the first reason why this is beneficial is that the queue times and lobbies will be faster. And here's why. There is only one killer required for this game mode, and we know in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the majority of players want to play victim, so that solves a lot when it comes to the queue times and the lobbies. Another reason why these things will be faster is because random sorority girls will be selected at the start of the game, and of course, there's no selecting perks or character abilities. So because of that, you're not going to have to worry about people trying to trade for certain characters in the lobbies. And I would also say that solo queue will make it faster because you're only going in with one player. So once 7 people are matched for the lobby, after the queue, things will be swift and start the round for the reasons just said. And this is also an alternative fix to the backfill issue since lobbies are filled one at a time always. Furthermore, if stack players come in, it will complicate things for the queue. For example, if there are a lot of people queuing with a 5 stack to queue for victims, or others like a 4 stack of victims queuing, it'll shake up the lobbies and the queue times. And if there is a 6 stack in queue for victims, it's very likely that the folks that are playing solo will constantly get Johnny, even though they may not particularly want to play him. It's the same way as if you play the 3v4 game mode quick play, and that really means you get family 90% of the time. And by the way, I know it's not really a preference system in this game mode, but you can play with pre-made lobbies. That'll mean 2 of you would get Johnny and the other one would be Killer. And the other victims, which opens the room for cheaters, and so on. It's why it works in the 3v4 TCM and 3v7 and Killer Clowns, because there's more flexibility in those game modes. And for the second point, that this game mode is all solo people will be more likely to communicate as sorority girls because they're not sitting in a Discord with their friends, with you muted, or just not bothering to help you. In other words, victims will finally start using their mics more because of that, but because there will be 6 victims instead of 4, so the likelihood grows significantly based on the numbers, and their interactions could be the difference between survival and death. Another thing is that the game mode is just like Friday the 13th with some of the escapes. The numbers on each side are very similar, if not the same. This is literally what we've been asking for, and this is the TCM version of Friday the 13th. So that's exciting, and it's a new way to play in today's asymmetricals. So for our next point, it's going to be simply that there will be less third wheeling when we queue, especially for those who solo queue often. So in the main version of the game, there's often times where you're kind of playing solo, and then maybe you're playing with people that are already stacked, and they're not really interacting with you. They're just kind of doing their own thing. Nobody's communicating. And oftentimes, teammates just leave without saying anything, or they teabag at the exit gate, or when you're fighting for your life, the sissy and hitch are tunneling you. I think this will happen less because there will be no private party in your game. So they have a duty to help you and work out together. To escape, of course. Okay, so let's move on to our next point, and this is really significant. So a major complaint about this game is that it's too sweaty or hard for new players. However, this game mode is a 1v6, and it'll be less sweaty because a team versus one guy, and nobody comes into the game with their own team. While playing TCM, there is a big mismatch. When a family is a 3 stack, for example, it's really hard playing victim when you're solo. Same way vice versa as a victim stack versus family solo queuers. The game mode will come off as less sweaty because there are not pro teams running optimal loops or patrolling, but everyone has the same advantage starting the match. No pre-made lobbies and no meta perks, so no level 1, 2, or 3 perks. In fact, no perks at all. When it comes to the game, it'll make it less sweaty and more inviting for new players. So to summarize, the queues and lobbies will be faster, teammates will be better via communication and survivability, and the game is similar to Friday the 13th, which is a great thing. less random man out third wheeling because of no pre-made lobbies or allies, and the game will be more chill because there's no comps or perks will be involved or even character abilities outside of Johnny. So it's not like our Connie needs to be opening doors and our Leland and Anna needs to take aggro. But that's also the beauty of the different game modes. Rush Week adds to TCM, it doesn't take away, and this is a big W for the game in totality. Thank you guys so much. Like the video and subscribe to the channel.